case number 8854, Sarah Davis versus Joy Briggs. Ladies, can you please come to the podium?
Well, she owed me for at least, she hasn't paid her rent. She's always late.
She let me keep her stuff there. I told you I was going to be gone. I told you I wasn't expecting to pay rent for 6 weeks, and you're still telling me I have to pay her for utilities.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Porter will preside.
Everyone, please have a seat. Thank you so much. We have case number 8854, Sarah Davis versus Joy Briggs. Ladies, can you please come to the podium? Ms. Davis, ma'am, you're suing Ms. Briggs for the amount of $3,800 for, what is this? Emotional distress. Am I reading that correctly?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am, can you tell us what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been living in this apartment for a couple of months now. Mm-hmm. And I just came back from a trip from Europe. I was there for 6 weeks. 6 weeks,
and
okay. I had told my landlord that I was going to be gone for those 6 weeks, and I didn't expect to have to pay during that time since I was moving all of my stuff out of the apartment. So the apartment was empty. I wasn't in it. None of my belongings were in it. Nobody was staying in it. So it was empty. And I told her about this about a month in advance, and she's still charging me for rent and utilities, even though there was nobody in the apartment and I was gone for 6 weeks.
The courtroom was tense as Sarah Davis took legal action against her landlord, Joy Briggs, asking for $3,800 for emotional distress. Sarah claimed she shouldn't have to pay rent or utilities during a 6-week trip to Europe, saying she emptied the apartment and gave prior notice. But her frustration ran deeper. She felt hurt by what she described as gossip, eviction threats, and unfair behavior. As she explained her side, the judge leaned in, clearly picking up on signs that this case might involve more than just unpaid rent.
Okay. So what's the $3,800 for again?
Emotional distress. Because she's gone around, she's been bad-mouthing me. I've been a perfect tenant. I've paid rent on time, and I've been very quiet, and I don't bother anybody. And for some reason, she wants to still charge me, and then she's bad-mouthing me to everybody, and she gave me a couple of eviction notices, so I don't... So yeah, I'm taking her to court.
Okay, I'm definitely missing part of this story. Ms. Briggs, you mind filling in the rest as to what's going on here?
I will try my best. This young lady, I actually gave her a break. My name is Miss Briggs. I'm always trying to bless others, and sometimes that comes back to haunt you. I was really being nice to this young lady because her mom and I attend the same church, and her behavior is just it's so much different than her mother, but it's okay. I agreed on giving her a $300 discount in her rent already. She has a lease. She told me she was going away. Okay, we go on vacation. But if you choose to take all of your belongings when you go on vacation, that's up to you, but you still have a lease. And so I've made no commitment for her not to pay her rent. And of course, I went through the proper procedure, and I'm going to evict her if she doesn't pay.
Okay, maybe I'm just being dumb today, but I'm confused.
Briggs pushed back, explaining that she had already given Sarah a $300 discount out of goodwill and only expected her to honor the lease she signed. She pointed out that going on vacation, even to another country, doesn't change the fact that a lease is still legally binding. When Sarah stopped paying, Briggs followed the legal steps to begin eviction. As the judge reviewed the facts, 1. Things stood out. Sarah had agreed to a full-year lease, then vanished for a month and a half. At that point, the terms of the deal and the consequences started catching up to her.
You signed a lease for, how long was the lease?
A year.
A year lease, and you were gone for 6 weeks, which is a month and a half, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you signed a lease for an entire year.
But
okay.
I told her that I wasn't going to be there for those 6 weeks.
I got that. I understand that part. But here's what I don't understand. That time that you went away to Europe for 6.5 weeks, I'm not even understanding why you removed your property from your from your place.
So that I didn't have to pay rent. See, if it was an empty apartment, if I wasn't there, if none of my stuff was there, why should I have to pay to keep my stuff there? Because at that point, that's what I'm paying for.
Okay, but here's the problem though. If you take all your stuff out and you're gone for 6 weeks and you have a lease, she can't rent that spot to another person. It's yours. You signed an agreement. It's yours. She can't.
I gave all my stuff. I put stuff in my friend Jennifer's place. It's cheaper to keep it there. She doesn't charge me for it.
I understand that, but she can't rent that space because it belongs to you.
But I told her I wasn't going to be there, so
I
she could have
understand
rented
that,
it out to somebody else.
Okay, let me help you with this. Let's say, for whatever reason, she decides to rent that space while you're gone for 6.5 weeks, right? She's gone 6.5 weeks. I'm going to rent the space out while she's gone. The person that's there causes damage to the place. The walls are damaged. Maybe the plumbing's damaged. There's damage in the place to this person who's there for 6 weeks. Now the person's gone. Now you're coming back.
Yeah.
She's responsible, right?
Porter leaned in and explained things plainly. It didn't matter if Sarah was physically living in the apartment or not. The lease was still active and she was still responsible. The room grew quiet as he gave a straightforward example. If someone had broken in and damaged the place while she was away, Sarah would still be on the hook for it. That's when reality hit. Just because she left temporarily didn't mean her. Legal duties disappeared. The lease wasn't tied to her mom or a friend. It was in her name, and that meant she was fully accountable.
Well, no, the person who was there is responsible.
No, she's responsible.
But
She's
it
got to
would
be
be the person
responsible.
that was there
She's
for
got
6
to be.
weeks.
You know why she's responsible?
That's my
Because
problem.
you're coming back. The place has to be pristine the same way that you left it. Because if it's not, now she has another problem. And you have a problem. Where am I going to stay? My place is damaged.
I'm going to stay with my friend Jennifer.
But see, Jennifer's not part of the lease agreement.
But I'm telling you, she could have rented out my room, my apartment for 6 weeks. And then if there was any damage, I could have stayed with my friend Jennifer. But I told her about it
If you're
ahead
going
of
to have
time.
an arrangement like that where you're out of the country for whatever reason, then I would suggest that you get a lease that goes month to month. Okay? But you went for an entire year. That place is yours. Whether you move your stuff out or not, you could have even had someone come and house it for you while you were gone.
But the agreement was made between her and my mom. I just kind of signed the papers and I moved in.
Is your mom's name on the paperwork?
No, but she told me, she's like, here, sign this and you can live here.
The paperwork says Sarah Davis.
Yeah, I signed it, but my
You're
mom
Sarah
gave
Davis.
it.
Is your mom Sarah Davis?
No, she's Mrs. Davis, but she handed me the paperwork and she said, this will be fine. You'll live here for a while. And I just signed it. I didn't know.
Ma'am, but you're responsible. You're an adult. You're responsible for everything that comes with that. I'm sorry, but that window of 6 weeks while you're in Europe, you're responsible for that apartment
But I could have been doing something else. I could have been lying about where I was. I submitted photos as proof that I was in Europe during that time.
4. The tension rises as Sarah insists she gave notice and even showed proof she was overseas. But the judge stays firm. You could have been right across the street. It still wouldn't matter, he says. The fact that she moved her belongings to a friend's house doesn't change anything legally. The bottom line is simple. Sarah signed the lease. No matter where she went or why, she's still legally on the hook for the rent. Good intentions don't override the law, and taking a trip doesn't cancel a binding agreement.
But you know what? And we got those photos. But here's the thing. You could have been across the street and it still wouldn't matter. You could have been in the apartment next door. It still wouldn't matter. You're still responsible under the agreement of the lease that you signed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your $3,800. You're not getting, ma'am, how much does she owe you?
Well, she owed me for at least, she hasn't paid her rent. She's always late. But
Wait a minute. So since I understand that she didn't pay for the 6 weeks. So you're telling me she hasn't paid for 2 months?
2 months.
At least 2 months.
At least 2 months. And can I add this?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, this young lady, you're taking up my time, number one, but I'm glad to be here in your courtroom. Well, Judge Porter, I feel as though I've given her a lot of breaks. Her mom and I, we attend the same church, and we have such a great relationship. I gave her a $300 a month discount. And I wasn't going to bring it up, but her behavior today it shows. You know, I've received so many complaints from the neighbors. The police have been called a number of times, and I really wasn't going to say anything. But today, girlfriend, it is here. Clearly, your behavior warrants nothing but paying your rent. And, you know, maybe next time you'll make some better judgments. Going to Europe, spending your rent money, is that a good thing?
I shouldn't have to pay my rent. I was gone for 6 weeks. I told her I was going to be gone for 6 weeks. I moved my stuff out of my friend Jennifer's house. She let me keep her stuff there. I told you I was going to be gone. I told you I wasn't expecting to pay rent for 6 weeks. And you're still telling me I have to pay for utilities. I shouldn't have to pay for utilities. I didn't any water, any electricity. I shouldn't have to pay.
Briggs doesn't hold back. She tells the court Sarah was often behind on rent, neighbors had complained, and there was even a time when police got involved. Sarah fires back, denying all of it, but the judge quickly steps in and tells her to calm down. The energy in the room shifts. This case isn't just about money anymore. It's about credibility. When Sarah argues she didn't use any water or power during her trip, the judge responds firmly, "That doesn't matter. She signed a lease, and that lease still stands, whether she stayed in the apartment or not."
Ma'am, I'm going to need you to calm down. Bring it down. Okay? Can you do that for me?
It's not fair. It's not fair.
I understand you're discontent with what's going on right now. I get that. But you still have to act in a certain way when you're in court.
I'm sorry, but when she's bad-mouthing me like that, saying the police were called, I've never had the police called on me.
Ma'am, what a coincidence. I've never had the police called on me either. So we have something in common. But look, here's the thing, okay? Like I told you earlier, when you're gone, whether it's 6 weeks, 6 months, whatever the case may be, it's still within the window of that lease.
But I told her I was going to be gone.
Don't interrupt me. Please, let me finish, okay? You're still responsible for the property. You're responsible. She can't rent that out. It's yours.
I wasn't using it, though.
It doesn't matter.
I wasn't using
yours. It's yours.
But I told her it wasn't going to be there.
Ma'am.
She should be able to use it if she wants.
If-
It's her building.
If that's your concern or if that's going to be your lifestyle, then you're going to have to rent month to month. But for right now, am I correct? It's 2 months that we're behind now?
Yes, 2 months.
2 months. You're going to have to pay that 2 months. I'm sorry. I'm going to dismiss your case, but I'm requiring you to pay the 2 months rent that you're behind, because if you don't, you're going to have extra fees and it's going to cost you.
Court
Do you
costs.
understand?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, then. This case is dismissed.
The judge gives a clear and firm ruling. Case dismissed. Sarah is ordered to pay the full 2 months of unpaid rent. She's visibly frustrated, but the decision is final. Briggs ends on a steady note, saying she tried to help Sarah, but sometimes doing the right thing doesn't pay off. As Sarah leaves, she hints that she's not done yet, but the judge's message is unmistakable. A lease isn't about emotions or personal disputes. It's a legal commitment, and once you sign it, you're expected to honor it.